Hi folks, I'm back again. I know I said in that unboxing video I was going to do the Fab 1 next, but I haven't ordered any of the parts for it yet. So I did have another comment from somebody, and they like the look of this one. It's a little Ford Consul. So today we're going to have a go at this one. So as with all of our restorations, first job, rivets. In this one, looks like there's 3. I don't know why they got 3 in there. I mean, it's only a little car. I suppose in the old days they just wanted to make sure. But let's get them out as before. Use the 2mm drill just to get the head started. Just like that, just drill down a bit into the head of the rivet. Just clean the tip of my drill off a bit. And then with the other 2, do the same. There. And then once you've done that, I swap drills, get the bigger one. Then I think this is about I don't know, what's it say on the side? I can't tell. 4mm, 5mm, I don't know. It's a lot bigger than the other one, put it that way. Anyway, you stick that on there and you can get the top of the rivet off with this one. So as we can get that old base plate off. Do them 2. Like so. Just like that, you see. Just get it off, just so you can pop the base plate off. And this is just one of these battery drills I use for this, because he goes nice and slow. He's not too aggressive. Yeah, I might be able to get that off actually with the screwdriver. Right, so looks like this one's got a handy little removal piece here. Looks like it's going to be quite easy to get off this one. There you go. It's come off. There's the base plate. Took the rest of the shrapnel off that. So that shows that'll be a nice flush fit when it's going back on now. Oh, what's all this fell out now? Oh, it's just bumpers. The bumper spring is all falling out here. They're fixed, so I'm going to have to take the tires off, get that in the caustic, and mask some wheels up when I eventually spray it. Right, bumpers come off. Now, like I said in the unboxing video, I think the bumper is slightly bent on this corner because it's not allowing it to shut properly. I'll take these wheels out a minute. There's a spring in here. I'm going to have to straighten that out, I think, and give that a really good clean. And use a Dremel for that. The seats are looking really grotty. God, they're even burnt one side. Well, that's not good. And here's me thinking this was going to be an easy resto. The screen's not too bad. Screen to clean up. I'm just hoping that the seats are not going to be too noticeable. What's it looking like in there? I mean, hopefully I might get away with it, because you can't buy these repro seats. Or you can't buy these as repros, I should say. The only place you could try to get anything like this, like seating pieces and stuff like that, is a place called Dinky Club, and they got like a scrapyard, breaker's yard they call it. But half the time I go there, they haven't got anything of anything, not even new stuff. So I've given up on them. I'm just wondering what it'll look like when I... There, see, you're going to see the edge. That's the trouble when the seats are back in, you're going to see that edge. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. What can I do to salvage this? That is a right bummer. It's just all melted away. I don't know what's happened there. Some kids put a bloody match into it, I think, when they was playing with it when I was younger. I wonder if I can fabricate anything to go in there. There's going to be a bit of a fix, I must say, to try and do anything there. Let me think. Anyway, that's what I'm up against with that. So I'll have to have a think on that, what to do with that. But in the meantime, I'm not going to abort it. I'm still going to carry on and restore it. Because, I mean, even if I've got to put this back in like this, it's still going to be better than what it was when I started. So let's get on with the rest of it. Right. The bonnet. I think what I'm going to have to do is try and just flatten this out slightly in that corner. Just using a pair of pliers. Be very careful, you don't want to break it. Just squeeze it together like that to get a flat edge. I'll try the other side as well, just to... No, I mean, that doesn't look too bad actually. That looks fairly straight. It should close up now. So if I stick that in the grooves. Yeah, that's pretty level now. That bonnet's shut nice and flat. If you look on the side, has shut flat. If you look at the front, seems to be as it should be. So that sorts that piece out. Now for this piece of wire, it's not a piece of wire, it's a piece of... It's similar to the sort of thing you get out of the same sort of metal as what you get in the Man from Uncle car, the springy sort of stuff. For that, we're going to have to give it a good clean. I'll use my Dremel for that. Very lightly. Just keep going over it. See the dirt coming off of this. I wonder if I can get it on the bottom. It's so dirty, so rusted. If you let it carry on, it'll just snap. There, that's a lot better. Flip it over. Same again. If you notice my fingers are green, I've been spraying up something else. I'll have to hold this I think for that bit. Yeah. It's a bit cleaner. Let's see if I can fit this back in, see if I can get the bonnet working properly. And that goes in there. Oh, hang on, I know how it works. It goes in that groove like that, and then it's got to bend over. It bends like that, I think. And that's what holds the bonnet open. Or if I can get the bonnet to open. Ah, there we go. When you got the actual car together, the spring holds the bonnet open like that. But I think that's how it goes. Just in the front of that little groove there. You can see that. And then just push down into that piece. Just goes into that like that. I didn't see how it was put in because it just sprang out when I opened the base plate. But that looks like how it's meant to go in. It'd be a good idea to bend it the other way actually, because it might give it a bit more strength. But anyway, take it out for now. Don't need it at the moment. Put that on one side. I'm quite happy with that shutting now. It's not too bad at all. Right, I shall drill out the base, not the base plate. I'll drill out the rest of these posts. These here, drill them out, ready for rivets, and then we'll get on and strip it. Well, I've actually found in my bits box an old piece of seating from I don't know what, but I was figuring if I was to cut this piece off and then just try and glue this piece, cut this piece along here somehow and glue that piece in there, I might be able to salvage that seating. Once all this is gone, I could actually cut there and would respray it or something, do something with that, and that would cover up all this. So I'm going to have a go at that. I'm going to cut this out and try and stick this piece onto it. So I'll show you what the outcome is in a sec. What I've done, I didn't actually do it on camera because I mean this took me a good what half an hour or more to get right. What I did, I found an old piece of seating in with all my bits in my bits box from out of someone else. I think it was a Land Rover or something like that, and I've cut a piece off and stuck it underneath. I don't know if you can see. Stuck it underneath where it was missing. The only difference is the seating's different on that new piece. It's just plain, if you can see it. But once it's all painted up, I don't think it's going to be noticeable. I mean, the only person that I know it's been done will be me and you lot. Well, yeah, that's the point. But you ain't going to see it from outside. It's better than have a gaping hole on the side of the seats. So I don't think that's going to be too bad once it's been painted up. I mean, let's try it in the actual thing a minute, and just to check it. I've got that piece there. I mean, it drops in nicely, that. If we look, yeah, the back seats look a bit, they look a bit bent. But I mean, it's better than having a dirty great hole inside there. At least you're not going to have that hole because it's been filled up. And once all the paint's on it, I don't think it'll make a lot of difference. But anyway, just thought I'd show you. I mean, I couldn't think of anything else I could do really with that. It just looks a bit higher one side, but there ain't a lot I could do about it. It's what you might call a bob bodge, but as long as it does the trick, fills the hole up, that's all I'm worried about. As long as it's better than it was, you might say. At least there is a bit of a seat there now. Anyway, let's get on with stripping this car. Right, let's give this a bit of a clean. I've stripped all the paint with the old caustic soda. So now we're gonna get the paint, or the thing, get all the metal shined up, ready for the spraying. Right, it's not too bad today, so I've decided I'm going to put the first coat on. Got a nice Ford Sierra beige, so let's get on, give it a quick flash of paint. I don't know if you can see that very well. So that should do for the first coat of that. As you can see, that's not too bad. Now we'll just give the bonnet a quick spray. As near as I can get it to the original colour anyway. So what do you think? It's not too bad, is it? So I've given this a chance to dry now. It's been a good couple of days to harden up, and it ain't come out too bad. As you see with the engine, what I did, I masked this bit of engine up with a bit of tape, so it would be left the original metal sort of colour, and I painted in the battery by hand with a bit of black satin humble paint, and I reckon that'll look pretty good when it's all put back together. But this isn't finished yet. I've got to put the tyres on here on the back. I've done the base plate, that's all sorted, and the seats ain't too bad. I sprayed them up now. I know it's a bit manky looking, looks a bit manky on the bottom, but that's the bit you're going to see. But anyway, that's the best I could do. I patched it up like best I could and sprayed it over with a bit of undercoat, white undercoat, bit of yellow, and then undercoat again to get the matte, and it ain't too bad. It's better than it was anyway. That's the best I can do with it. But anyway, the next part for this, the roof, is got to be it's got to be done with the red paint. So we're going to have to mask all this bodywork off. That's why I left it a couple of days, because I found if you don't leave it very long to harden up, it's going to peel. When you put the masking tape, it's going to peel off all the, you know, what you've done. So you've got to leave it and let it harden up properly, and then once the red's been sprayed onto it, just let that dry off, and then it's a case of just lacquering right over the whole lot, and then leave it for another couple of days before we put it together. But anyway, let's get on with masking it up. There, that should do it. Right, let's get out and spray that. Right, here we go. All you need is a few quick passes, because you don't want it to get under your masking tape. Light touch like that. Try and shoot down on it if you can. There. That should be enough. Shouldn't think I need any more than that, but we'll soon find out once we peel off the masking tape and see what it reveals. I just hope it doesn't bleed. That's the worst nightmare, if it bleeds onto the other colour, because it's a very light colour. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for that to dry, let's take off the masking tape from this base plate and get the tyres on this thing. I'm using the original tyres because I think they're quite new actually. They don't look like old ones. There's the first one. They're not the best quality, but there's a lot of flare on them, on the edges. But you know, they'll do okay. Just put them on like that, and there you have it. There's the new tyres on there. So that's nearly ready to go back together. All this has been cleaned, all this bonnet thing. There's the wheels for the front, and we're almost there, folks. Now it's time to see if this is going to come off nice, or whether I've got to do a lot of messing around and touching it up afterwards. Hopefully it'll peel off and it'll be a nice clear cut along each line. Now what you want to remember is try and take it off as you put the pieces of tape off or on. Take them off in reverse where you put them all, and that way you won't be fighting against it. And peel it off very slowly. Well, it's done the two end pieces. Let's get these two pieces off of that. Give it a try. Right, I've got a piece overlapping there, so that piece comes off first. See, because it all interlocks, so you've got to try and remember the last pieces you put on. And that piece got to come off first. Come over like that. Nice and carefully. Right, now this is the moment of truth. Is it going to be a nice clean finish, or is it going to be a mess? This is a bit of dread. Very slowly. You've got all the time in the world, so don't rush it. It's not looking too bad so far. I'm quite happy with that. Take a piece out the inside. That was just to stop anything that might have blew in. And now, hopefully this side is just as good. There's the other side. Very slowly. Because peeling it off like this, you can peel the paint you've just sprayed as well. So you've got to go very slow. I hate doing two-tone spraying, but this is not too bad at all. And if you look at that, that's coming out pretty good. There's no over spray, there's no bleeding. It's coming out very good. I'm very happy with that. This is going to look a nice little motor when it's done. But for now, that's all I can do. So I'm gonna stop this bit of video here, and it will be like seconds for you, but it'll be like a good couple of days before I put this together, because I'm going to let this harden up. I'm going to give it a coat of lacquer in a minute, and then I'm going to let it harden up, and then the next time you see the next scene, I'll be showing you, well, there's not much to show, but I'll be putting it together, and it'll be the end article. But yeah, that's come out very nice. Very pleased with that. This has had a couple of days now to dry. It's hardened up. So let's get on and put it back together, see how it looks. Right, first of all, get the bonnet in. Yeah, that goes underneath. We'll turn it up that way. Oops! Blimey, I'm going to crack this paint before I have a chance to see what it looks like finished. Now he just drops on like that, the bonnet. So it was shut. There, if you see that, it shuts perfectly now. But don't worry if he's hanging a bit, you ain't gonna hurt. Put that on there. Drop your glass in. Just like that. I'll refurbish seats, or not too bad. Drop them in. This is all pretty straightforward. Now this is the awkward bit, is putting this bar back in. Now what you got to do, you got to put your wheel in first, like that. And the bar has got to go over the wheels. So you got to go in that little slot like that, as you can see. And then you've got to bend that top piece into the bonnet. It's like a little thing that's got to sit in. It's quite easy to do, like that. And then your wheels is underneath that bar. And then all you do then, you get your back piece, line it up with your wheels and your rivet posts. Or your back piece, was on about the base plate I'm not talking about. Get it lined up, that's the fiddly bit up the front, because you got that spring there. And you got to line it up to get the wheels to go in the grooves. And once you've done that, you just squeeze it together on the edges like that to get your get it lined up properly. And then all you need is a bit of super glue. I usually use the end of a pin or a bit of wire to get a bit of glue on. And just drop it in the hole like that. Put your rivet in. I have to use my tweezers for this. Just guide it in there like that. There he goes. And then the end of my foil, just throw down a bit of stray glue there. As you see, there's one in. Squeeze it together slightly more actually. Give it another little shove. Make sure he's home. Put my glass top there, I don't want to ruin the paint, so I'll leave it on there. And let that dry for a bit, just to let it take a good hold, because sometimes these base plates are slightly bent, and then when you try to do the back, before that's dry, it pulls the front up slightly, so you want to get one in there to pin it in, and then let it dry, and then put the rest in. There, I've put the rest of the rivets in. It's not too bad. Fitting nice and easily, and well, all you got to do now is paint your backlights in, silver it up. I'll do that now, and I'll let you see the finished article. just thought I'd mention, I had a bit of a mishap with my computer. I lost a few scenes. I was doing a restoration video on the Ford Capri that came in the box of goodies video, what I showed you, the red one. Let's just have a look at that. I've got a couple of snapshots here if we just have a look. That was then, and in spite of losing the scenes, I thought, well, I might as well carry on with the restoration and finish it, and well, this is it. It's turned out quite nice. I changed the colour, I put different wheels on it, proper rubber wheels. I usually, what I do is go to boot sales and I find these wheels off of cheap little kiddies cars, and I just buy them for the wheels really. They only charge about 50p each for them, and that's how it's turned out. All the doors open up, you got your seats, reclining seats inside, and there you go. But again, I'm very sorry I couldn't show you the restoration, because I did lose the computer. I don't know what happened, and I just lost the scenes, the early part of the scenes when I was taking it apart, and I just thought I might as well show you anyway how it turned out. So there you go. So anyway, that's it from me. Until the next time, goodbye.